Hey, how you guys doing out there today? This is Stephen Jimenez from the Roto Beast team, and I'm here to present you our NBA picks for Monday, November 20th. As always, if you want to watch our full video, please come subscribe to our YouTube channel at Roto Beast. And if you want to play the actual lineups that we're playing, please visit our website at www.rotobeast.net. All right, so I'm gonna go through these quickly. I got to go to basketball practice right now, but I'm just gonna jump right into it. I think the top game to start with today is going to be the Indiana Pacers at Orlando Magic. This game has the highest implied total with the 219 projected points to be scored, and Orlando's favored by 3.5. Next, we will talk about Cleveland at Pistons. At Detroit, playing the Pistons. This game has the second highest projection of 216 points projected to be scored. Cleveland's favored by 2. Then we will go to Minnesota going into Charlotte to play the Hornets. This game has the third highest implied total of 214 projected points to be scored, and Hornets are favored by 2 as well. Then we will quickly touch on OKC going into New Orleans to play the Pelicans. This game has the fourth highest total with 213.5 projected points to be scored, and OKC's favored by 2.5. Then we got the Jazz without Gobert. They've been playing pretty good, though. I think this is going to be a really close game between the Jazz and Philadelphia. This has a 212 implied total, and Philadelphia is actually favored by 7. So, Vegas thinks this could get out of hand. I personally think it's going to be a pretty good game. And the last game that we're going to talk about is going to be Wizards going into Milwaukee to play the Bucks. This has a 209 implied total, and Milwaukee is projected to win by 5. Thing about this game, since Milwaukee's projected to win by 5, I think that this is another game that John Wall's probably going to sit out. Because otherwise I think that Washington is a better team when they're fully healthy. So those are the games I'm going to talk about. Let me just jump into the picks. We'll talk about Westbrook. This is the first time in 2 years I've ever seen Westbrook under 10K. He's 9.9, and I understand why he's 9.9. He hasn't been putting up the massive points like he has last year, but he's still averaging 45 fantasy points a game this year, and at a 9.9 price tag, we need about 48, 49 from him. This game is projected to stay pretty close against the Pelicans. I definitely think that he's a solid play today. Whenever need be, he is getting his minutes, filling up the stat sheet just like we're used to. The thing about Westbrook is he hasn't had those massive scored 40, scored 50 points, actual scoring points in one game, and that's what's really been hurting his fantasy stats is he's only scoring right around 20 a game. But he's a great player today. I really like him. Next, we'll talk about Kemba Walker. I always talk about Kemba Walker at home. This guy just plays a lot better at home. If you look at his home and road splits, he's much better at home. But this year he's been good on the road as well. The guy's playing really good. At an 8.3 price tag, you need about 42 from him. He's averaging 38 fantasy points a game this year. I really like him in this spot going against Jeff Teague, who doesn't really play the best defense. So Kemba Walker's a great play at home today. Then we'll talk about Alfred Payton. This guy's pretty good. The hair is not nice, but his game is pretty nice. We know this guy can fill up the stat sheet. It's all about if he's going to get his minutes or not. His minutes are up, down, up, down, up. The most he ever plays, well, he's played in a while, is about 30 minutes. Is pretty much what he averages a game. So that's a little bit scary. I think he's more of a GPP play. But, going against the Pacers in the highest implied total of the slate, you got to definitely consider him. If he's going to be locked into 30 minutes, we know this guy fills up the stat sheet. He gets the defensive stats as well. So I think Alfred Payton's a solid GPP play today. Then we'll go with the play. It's not a sexy play, but the guy's been consistent. 5.7. He's averaging 28 fantasy points a game this season. He's on the other side of the ball and the highest implied total going against Alfred Payton. The minutes are pretty solid. He's averaging about 32 minutes a game this year. He's not going to kill you. Like I said, he's getting you 28 fantasy points a game. He's been right around that. a lot lately. I think this is a solid spot for Darren Collison. Like I said, not going to get you the monster games, but he will get you the consistency. I think he is going to, get you at least 25 tonight. At a 5.7 price tag, we need about 28. So, I think he's going to get that. It's right around his season fantasy points per game that he's already been getting. So this is a solid spot for Darren Collison. Lastly, the guy I want to talk about, and this is a big if. This is if John Wall is out. If John Wall is out, you might as well just lock in Tim Frazier. He's pretty much going to be an auto play if John Wall is out again today. John was out yesterday, and the guy played 35 minutes, 6 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. There's nothing special. He could score a little bit more, but if he's going to fill up the stat sheet and get us 8 rebounds and 8 assists as well, 23 points on a 3.1 price tag, that's almost 8 times value. John Wall's out today. Don't overthink it. Just lock this guy in your lineup. Next, we will move on to shooting guard. I think the top shooting guard is going to be Oladipo. Oladipo, he's getting a lot of usage. He's getting pretty much unlimited shots. He's averaging 22.6 points a game this year, 5 rebounds, 3.7 points to give us a 37 fantasy points per game. At a 7.9 price tag, we need about 38, 39 from him. That's right around his average. I'm going in the up-tempo game against the Magics. And if you don't remember, he started off his career with the Magics before he was traded to the Thunder. So he could also be playing with a chip on his shoulder going into Orlando. Oladipo is a great play. Then we go down Batum. This guy's starting to get back in the flow of things, so his minutes haven't really rose up the way we want them. But we seen him last year playing 35 minutes regularly. This guy fills up the stat sheet, plain and simple. He's played 3 games since he's been back, and he's got at least 33 fantasy points in 2 of the 3. If he could get us, 33 fantasy points at a 7.2 price tag today, that's very, very close to value. We actually need about 36 for value. I like him in this spot. I think it's going to be an up and down game against the Timberwolves. And Nicholas Batum looks very good today. And we got this kid. He's just playing a lot of minutes, and he's doing a lot of work for us. The past 5 games, he's got at least 30 fantasy points in 4 of the past 5. At a 6.6K price tag, we actually need about 34 from him. I like him in this spot. Going against the Sixers is going to be an up-tempo game. The guy gets a lot of steals. He gets blocks. And, Sixers are a young team that careless with the ball. They do turn over the ball, so he could definitely get some steals. Before this last game where I think it turned into a blowout, he was locked in 35 minutes, 36 minutes, 34 minutes, 35 minutes. So I think the game is going to stay close. I think he's going to get 35 minutes today. I really like Donovan Mitchell. And we'll go on the other side of the ball. This old man has just been good. Plain and simple, 5.3K, JJ Redick. Thing about him is he's a little bit more score independent. That's what we'd always say usually. But, he's been doing a lot of other things for the guys. He's averaging 3 rebounds, almost 4 assists a game, 25 fantasy points a game. If he's going to get us his 25 fantasy points at a 5.3 price tag, we need about 26 to 27. I would be very happy with the 25. I like him in this spot a lot. It's going to be, a back-and-forth game. The Jazz, they're kind of a slow team, but since Gobert has been off of the floor, they actually have sped up a little bit. So I like J.J. Redick in this spot. He's a great price as well. And then lastly, I'm going to talk about J.R. Smith. This is a cheap guy, 4.3K. He's playing massive minutes. He's filling up the stat sheet somewhat. At a 4.3 price tag, we need about 22. He's got us 22 in 3 of the past 5 games, and he's hit 30 a couple times. I do like J.R. Smith on the lower end of shooting guards. Next, let's move on to small forward, Giannis. I think he's one of the top options any night pretty much. He's locked into massive minutes, 39, 40 minutes a game. He's averaging 56 fantasy points a game this season. At a 12K price tag, we need about 60 out of him. And in an up-tempo game against the Washington Wizards, I definitely think that this game's going to stay close. I definitely think he has a great shot of hitting that 60 mark tonight. Giannis is a great play at small forward. Next, we'll talk about LeBron James, 400 less. He's playing in the second highest implied total game going against the Pistons. He's playing monster minutes when they're asking him to. Monster minutes. He's averaging 54 fantasy points a game, 11.6K price tag. We need about 57 from him. I mean, and he's getting close. He's been getting close a lot lately. I mean, he's having to do a lot for this team to win. They're really struggling right now. So LeBron's a great option to pay up. Then you got Paul George. I mean, one of the reasons why Westbrook hasn't been doing good is because Paul George has been killing it. I mean, plain and simple, he's locked in a massive minutes, 42, 41, 42, 36, 42. I mean, these are massive. He's averaging 38 fantasy points a game. But in the past 5, he's actually hit 43 in the past 5 with 57 and a 69 upside. Paul George, a solid play today going against New Orleans. They have nobody that can really guard him. I mean, in that 8,500 price tag, we need about 43 from him. I mean, I think he's going to get close. I think this game's going to be a very close game, back and forth, going against the big guys with AD and Cousins. Paul George is a solid play tonight. Then you got Evan Fournier playing in the highest applied total. This guy, I mean, he's been really good this year. He's kind of slowed down a little bit compared to what he's been doing earlier in the season. But, I mean, his minutes have been up and down. Usually, especially earlier in the year, we've seen him locked into about 33 minutes. If he's going to get the 33 minutes tonight against the Pacers, he's averaging 32 fantasy points a game. At a 6.4 price tag, we need about 32, right about his average. So I think he has a really good chance to get there tonight. Evan Fournier is a solid play tonight for the Magics. Then we will talk about Michael K. Gilchrist. And this guy, he just when he gets minutes, he does work. I mean, that's kind of the story with this guy. He's got 31 minutes in 2 of the past 4 games since he's came back. I mean, he's had 3 games, but he showed us that upside in the close game against Cleveland where he got us 41. On a 4.9 price tag, values 25. So if he has this 40-point upside, and we only need 25. I mean, I feel like that makes him a really good play. I think this game's going to stay close against the Timberwolves. Michael K. Gilchrist is a solid play tonight. The last guy I'm going to talk about quickly, Bogdanovich for the Pacers, 4.2 in the highest implied total game. I mean, he's playing about 32 to 34 minutes a game, and he has solid upside. At a 4.2 price tag, we need 21. He's averaging 21 fantasy points a game this season, right on his average. I think he's going to get there pretty close tonight. When he has showed us 30-point upside, just last game against Miami, who's a solid defensive team, he went off. He scored 26 points, 3 rebounds to his 6, got us 35. Bogdanovich, he's a really, really solid play tonight. So let's round it out. We'll go with power forward. Top guy, I think he's going to be back today. Anthony Davis, he was out for a couple games with a face problem or something. The guy's getting close to 60 almost every game. He slowed down the past couple games, but I think this is going to be a really close game against the Thunder. They don't have a power forward that could guard him. They have Steven Adams, which is a good defender, but he's going to be guarding DeMarcus Cousins, so I really like Davis today. Ben Simmons, this rookie has just been putting in work. He's doing what he needs to do. Going against the Jazz, I mean, it is a little bit of a slow tempo. It's going to slow down the game a little bit. That's their style of play. But like I said earlier, without Gobert, they're running a little bit more. I like Ben Simmons. 10.3 price tag. We need about 51. And he's got 50 in the past 2 games. He's got 53. He went on a streak. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So in the past 8 games, he's got 55 of the past 8 games. In the matchup today, I really like him. I think he's a solid play. I think he's a little bit more of a GPP play, though. Then you got Blake Griffin, 8.7K. I mean, I think the guy's still too cheap for the usage that he's getting on this team. He showed us just a couple games ago a 52-point upside against Cleveland. I mean, this guy could do this any single night. He's averaging 40 fantasy points a game this season. At his 8.7 price tag, we need about 43, 44. I think he has a good chance to get it tonight. I just feel like his price tag is a little bit too low still. You got to definitely like Blake Griffin. He fills up the stat sheet for you. We got Aaron Gordon. This guy's just playing out of his mind. He's shooting like 50% for the 3-point line. He's been doing good this year. I think he is a little bit more of a GPP play just because at a 7.5 price tag, we need about 37 from him, and he's only got 37 one time in the past 5 games. But with all the Magics, this is their problem. Their minutes are up and down, up and down. You don't know if you're going to get 25 or you don't know if you're going to get the 33 that they've been playing. That's the frustrating thing about the Magics, but they are playing in the highest implied total, and they're favored, so you got to definitely like some Magics, and I like Aaron Gordon. And then the last guy I'm going to talk about, a little bit on the cheaper end. Not too cheap, but fair price. Sorry. The guy's locked in. He's playing 33 minutes a game. He's filling up the stat sheet for us. We had him in every lineup last game against the Warriors, and it paid off for us. He got us 38 fantasy points. The guy has upside. He showed it to us last year. He does have massive upside. At a 5.4 price tag, we need about 27 from him. And he's got us 27 in what? 3 of the past 6, almost 4 of the past 6. So I really like Sark. I think he's a solid cash game play. Going against the Jazz. And then we'll finish it off with centers quickly. Cousins, obviously the top center on the slate. He didn't play his minutes last game because they got blown out. But, when it's a close game, he's playing the same amount of minutes as AD, 37 to 39 minutes. He's averaging 55 fantasy points a game this year. At 11.5 price tag, we need about 57. He is going to be banging with Steven Adams, so I could see foul trouble. That scares me a little bit. But, he has all the upside in the world. He already showed us this year 80 point upside. Got 70 another time, 74 another time. So he's a top play at center almost any time that he's playing. Got Embiid. You got to watch out for this news. He's a game-time decision. But, if he is playing, I think he's a solid. He's more of a GPP play. I don't like his price tag for cash. But, he's a solid play. He's locked into right now. He's playing about 33 minutes a game. And, he's filling up the stat sheet. You can't expect this 94. That was an outlier. He's never going to do this again this season. You can mark my word. But I think he's locked in for at least 45 fantasy points if he plays his regular minutes. Gotta like Joel Embiid. Andre Drummond, this guy's been good this year. He's been really, really good. He's getting tons of rebounds. He's averaging 16 rebounds a game. 16. That equals out to 43 fantasy points a game between everything. 9.1 price tag. We need about 45. Right almost close to his average. I really like him in this game against the Cavs. He's going to eat up Kevin Love. Kevin Love cannot stop him. Just like a couple games ago, Dwight Howard ate up Kevin Love. Shoe sitters tear Kevin Love up. I really like Andre Drummond in this spot against the Cavs. I think he's going to have a massive game today. And this guy's going to eat, all right? So I like him. Marc Gasol, this dude, he's been playing really good. He has a good matchup today at home. Ever since, Conley's been out, they're asking him pretty much to do everything. He's playing about 33 to 35 minutes a game. He's filling up the stat sheets. He's getting his points. He's getting rebounds, getting assists. Just a couple years ago, he was Defensive Player of the Year. He's stepping his game up on defense. He's been getting some blocks lately. At an 8.2 price tag, we need about 4,000, pretty much right on his season average. I really do like Marc Gasol today. I think he's a solid play. And the last guy I'm going to talk about quickly is Vucevic going against Indiana in the highest applied total of the day. This guy, he hasn't had massive games lately, but he showed us early in the year he was consistent, 45-ish. The one thing I will note, that Vucevic going against the Pacers, they are 29th in the league versus centers, so this is a really, really good matchup for Vucevic, and I think the guy has a chance to have a solid game today. Like I said, he's the same thing with all the Magic, which is frustrating. Their minutes are so up and down, but if he's going to play us his 32 minutes, which he was playing a lot earlier in the year, he's going to have a great game today. At a 7.6 price tag, we need about 38, but I think he's going to definitely get close to that, so definitely keep an eye on Vucevic. I think he's a solid play. He's probably a little bit more of a GPP play, though, in my opinion. So that's where I'm at. Sorry I had to rush a little bit. I got to head out. But, I hope this helps you. Let's win some money today. If you haven't already, please click the subscribe button below. Make sure and give us a like. We really appreciate it. And, hey, you guys have a good day. Take care.